Hey everybody, it's Mr. Allen again, and it's time for another model building workshop. So we've been working on the T-55, T-54s lately, and this is one of them. Most of the ones we've been doing have been the ERTL kit. This is the ERTL version, which is basically a reboxing of the old ERTL kit from the early 1990s. So I've been working on it for a while, and right now the wheels and the hull, I am in the process of spray painting those in a desert tan. And I was showing you different turrets the other day that we were doing with multimedia kits that were like aftermarket kits. So let me show you where they are at this point. So this is the, try to get in there close. So this is the MB Models one. And I have the, I guess it's a Chesapeake Model Designs gun barrel there. And I've got the hatches are from the ERTL kit. So that's where this is at the moment. It's been painted. I got some more painting to do, like on the dust cover here. And I added some gear on it, which is going to need some touching up. I added the decals on there already for a Russian version. So this is an early T-54 turret, which has the sloped overhang, which they ended up doing away with that because they realized this was kind of dangerous, because if a shell came at this and hit this, it's referred to as a shot trap. So they were concerned that a shell would hit, bounce down, and go right into the engine deck and blow the tank up. So they ended up sloping this down so it didn't have that angle. Anyway, so this is the MB Models turret, which is pretty much done. I added the searchlight for a later version. The early ones wouldn't have had it, but anyhow, that's where that is. There'll be a machine gun on the back, which I'll show you what that looks like. That's in the process of being painted. Now it's really tiny, very tiny. So I'm going to try to put a tarp around this with some tissue and some white glue and some water, and see if I can drape something over this. Because the detail is pretty on that. And I'll show you what I mean in just a second. So this is the, if I can get it. So this is the CMK models. Chesapeake Models Design. Chesapeake Models Design. That's what I've been using here. And okay, so this is the T-54 turret. And what I was able to do, I've got some of the hatches here are, some of that's from the ERTL kit. The dark green parts here are from a Tamiya kit. It's funny, I've been referring to the Tamiya model kit of the T-55A as new. It's been around since 2002. I didn't realize it's been around that long. So I've been referring to it as new. New to me, I guess. So I did find someone on eBay that was selling spare parts for the T-55 kit. So I grabbed a tree, basically, that had the hatches, the machine gun, and a lot of the turret accessories. And I thought that was a fair price for it, considering I just wanted to do some detailing up on this particular kit. I mean, I would have done fine working with the ERTL parts, but the price tag made it like, yeah, all right, well, why don't we do that? Because the machine gun, let's see if you can get at that, see that better. It's just significantly better detail. I don't know if you can really get at that and see that very well. The lighting in this room is not optimal, considering it's bright sunny at the moment and still not getting quite the lighting I'd like here. So anyhow, it's a much better molded machine gun than is on the, you know what? Let's do it this way. You can see the two here. There's much better detail on the Tamiya one. So this one's the one I'm going to end up putting on the model that I've been building for the last few episodes. This will be, I'm going to have to prime this, and then what I'll do is I'm going to paint this in a sand color, and there'll be some Iraqi markings on there, and I'm going to use some numbers on this. Perhaps I'll show you afterwards what I mean by that. Anyway, so that's where that is. Like I said, the hull is currently being spray painted, and I will have these to add on to different models. I don't know if that made any sense, but like I said, the early T-54 turret's going to go on the Italia version as that one is finished, and the Chesapeake Model Designs one is going to go on the one we're currently working on. We've been working on for the last few weeks. So, with that said, I want to take you through a few other things here on this episode. We're going to talk a little bit about some marking and some marking options and things like that. So hold on one second. I'm going to give a quick pause and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're talking about marking options you can do. So I have a decal sheet here. I'll take this out. This is from Tamiya, and this is, I'm going to take it out. This was the Gulf Operations decal sheet. So this one was designed for the Gulf War period of 1991. It's got several different examples. So it's got British, Kuwaiti, U.S., and it's got some other things in the back too, like there's a South Korean Marines vehicle here. There's a Syrian tank here in the Middle East conflicts. There's a German tank, and then there's a ambulance. So this set, which I've used some, gives you a lot of different decal options. So let me see here. But in this section down here, there are a few Iraqi markings and Iraqi flags, Republican Guard markings. So a few different Iraqi divisions here. There's some Egyptian ones from that period as well. And then there's a set of numbers in black over here. And this is a set from Star Decals, which I'd used these guys recently, and this gives a set of numbers in Arabic, and it basically gives you a breakdown here of how that goes from 0, well, 1 to 10, well, 1 to 0 I guess is how they got it lined up with it, with it translated there for us who are non-Arabic readers, what they are. So, and it gives you several different sizes, so you can do several different things. So I'm looking at doing the tank number in a larger set, and then they tended to have like a license plate on a lot of the Iraqi vehicles, which would need the smaller sizes. And then, I think I showed you this before, but there were also, Dragon had a set too of some Iraqi and Kuwaiti emblems as well. And, of course, I drop things all over the place. After building a few different models, you start getting some extra decals. So these are some other Cold War versions, like Czech, Finland, Russia, East Germany. So there are some options out there. I'll quickly show you what I'm looking at for a couple of quick, and I'll go into these books in more detail in another upcoming video. But this is a guide to the Gulf War Iraqi tanks. Visit to the Zoo, Iraqi Tanks and AFVs. Kind of an odd title, I guess, tongue-in-cheek perhaps. but it is kind of a menagerie of all sorts of Iraqi vehicles that were captured after the 1991 Gulf War. And in this book, they do, even though it's in black and white, I guess for cost of production back then, they had to keep it down. But this book does explain, some Iraqi markings, although they have to tell you what the colors are in text instead of on the photographs because they're black and white. But at least they do specify what these different Iraqi markings look like. There's a few here, and I'll show you some in color in just a second from another book. But they do break down what the unit markings are. This triangle design here, which is on the Tamiya decal sheet, by the way. And there's one here on the back of that hull. So this is a pretty good look at different types of armor and vehicles that the Iraqis used and the different markings that they would have had. And then this one's a little more grim in a way, but this is the after the storm, the Iraqi wrecks and fortifications. So this shows you the things that were kind of left behind on the battlefield, abandoned or destroyed. So I can find some examples in this one. Yeah, for example, here's a look at some different Iraqi markings here, like the Republican Guard marking. That's some Special Forces badge here and some infantry division on the other side there. There's some two color options there. Different ways the Iraqis painted their vehicles. You can get a good look. And it's just entertaining that a lot of these, of course, have been graffitied after they've been captured. So, there's a card one here that has some of that. But anyhow, it gives you some ideas of different ways these things were marked. Maybe we can find another one here. Yeah, there's another one here from this sword and stamp U.S. Marines. There's a Iraqi BMP there that has some interesting markings on it as well. And maybe I could find, yeah, here's an example of what I was looking at here. So I'm looking at something like this, which is, this thing's falling apart from age. So there's an Iraqi tank up top there. It's got a white rectangle with some numbers on it, and it has a black and red triangle on its side. And those are things that are on the, this thing just gave out on me after all these years. Yikes. Just some of the different units that were in use, and these are from Concord Publication. I'll get into these books in more detail in an upcoming video. So anyway, so that's where the project is. That's where the turrets are. That's where the hull is being painted, and hopefully I'll have that together soon so you can see what the finished version looks like. And as I said, there's some of the marking options that I'm looking at. I showed you some in previous videos if you had seen those, some pictures I had printed out from the scenes of the battles. Yeah, so that's where we are right now, and hope to see you guys real soon. Bye now.